by two great quarterbacks, Clint Sterner, Christian Hackenberg, representing the Big Ten and the SEC. Fellas, we might as well jump into it right off the bat. A lot of things took place tonight. Welcome with us. If you got something to sip on, grab it. We're going to roll with you here for a little bit. Let's start in Columbus. We got a chance to watch what I think is the most complete team in college football. We know the White Walkers and what they're doing in Athens. Hack Sterner with the Bulldogs and that defense. We get it. I think 17 points they gave up today was the most they gave up all year. Then we know who the Roman Army is. They're real solid and real steady on both sides. And then here comes the Buckeyes. Tonight was the fifth game this season. They put up 50 points. They beat down the Spoilermakers, a ready Purdue team that's been knocking out giants, but Ohio State was waiting on them. Christian, where should Ohio State finish tomorrow in the rankings?
I agree with you. I think they're probably the third best team. And realistically speaking, to your point, I think offensively they're the most complete team with weapons who could give Georgia a problem in terms of a matchup game if it turned into that, which I think it ultimately would turn into with Georgia. Olave, Smith and Jigba, or Jigba Smith, whatever it is, and then Garrett Wilson. I mean, those guys are really dynamic playmakers and can create a lot of problems. And when you got three guys like that, and they got guys that are sitting there, you got Marvin Harrison's kid, they got I think he was like the top receiver in the country last year, who's, scratching and scrapping for reps. They got a really deep receiver room, and Stroud can facilitate, and they got a really good running back. So I think from an offensive standpoint, they're the only team that can present Georgia with some issues right now that I've seen.
Clint, are we now really honestly talking about a big three? Like when the year started, we talked about the five families. One of them just got burnt out of their house. The other two kind of wobbled and fell. And now here come Ohio State. Ohio State's back. Is it the big three with Ohio State, Georgia, and Bama and the rest of the country, or are we not there yet?
No, I mean, I think you're probably right. I don't know. My question is about Alabama at this point. I mean, I think Ohio State's probably, if we're being honest right now, they're probably closer to Georgia than Bama is, in my opinion. I'd probably put them at 2. I think Bama's really vulnerable, man. And we'll see what happens the rest of the season. They still got to play at Arkansas. They still got to play Auburn. And they've still got to play, obviously, the SEC championship if they get there. I think Alabama's really vulnerable, and it may not take it may not take more than just if they get to the SEC championship. I don't know if they can stay on the field with Georgia. I really don't know if they can stay on the field with Georgia. So I'm hesitant to put Alabama up there, but I'm gonna ride with you just because the rest of college football from there and from 3 and down is there's a significant gap there. So I'll ride with Bama, but I would put Ohio State at 2.
Heck, I gotta roll with Clint on that. If we go back on Bama's season, Florida was on the 2-yard line and couldn't close out a 2-point conversion to beat them. LSU goes 12 rounds with them, and it's an LSU team that lost to UCLA out west. Those guys are trying to find their footing. They don't even know who their head coach is going to be next year. And they still play it within 6 to Bama. Ole Miss gets them. I mean, A&M gets them. They are more mortal than the other two. Is Clint on to something with the Buckeyes really being 2, or are they 1A? I mean, 1B.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you. I think, and you're to what you said, Clint, about how Bama still has some games ahead of them. I mean, Ohio State does too. They still got to play Michigan State and Michigan. And Penn State was really the only team that kind of gave Ohio State a scare, with the exception of Oregon beating them. So, that's what's so frustrating about college football right now. And like when you're sitting there talking about the 3, you have one team in Georgia who's just rolling over everybody. And like today we were worried because it was a 10-7 ball game in the second quarter and people were firing texts and everyone's like, oh, look at this. And then next thing you know, it's 40 whatever 17. So but there's so many. I think there's a lot of really deep teams in both of those conferences and teams who can come out, and it's almost more like an NFL type schedule where you could be playing a team that's the bottom of a division, but they could still beat the number one team in the division any Sunday. There's a distribution of talent that I haven't seen in a long time in college football. You usually have, like we said, those 5 families that are rolling. But Alabama's in a rebuild year, right? And I don't know. It'll be interesting, dude. But there's still a lot of really good football left that could really shuffle the cards, especially even in the top 3.
If you're looking for ways to skip the trip to the post office and dodge all the hectic holiday shopping traffic, like Clint Sterner, why not save time and money with Stamps.com? Stamps.com lets you compare rates, print labels, access exclusive discounts on UPS and USPS services all year long. It just makes sense, especially if your business sends more mail and packages during the holiday. Whether you're selling online or running on office or a side hustle, Stamps.com can save you so much time, money, and stress during the holidays. How? By allowing you to access all the post office, USPS shipping services you need without taking the trip and getting a discount you can't find anywhere else. Like up to 40% off USPS rates and 76% off UPS. In 2021, if you're still going to the post office instead of using Stamps.com, it's like taking the stairs instead of riding the elevator. Just going up a couple of floors. Sure, take the steps. Walking up 30 flights a day, you could use a break. And if you spend more time than a few minutes a week dealing with mail and shipping, Stamps.com is your lifesaver. You'll save so much time and money, you'll wonder why you didn't start sooner. So join Stamps.com, save time, save money this holiday season. Sign up with the promo code DARK. That's all caps for After Dark Show, Phil to 12, for a special offer that includes a 4-week trial, free postage, and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com like Christian Hackenberg does. Click the microphone at the top of the page and enter the code DARK, all caps, for Stamps.com.